Welcome back to day number 7, um, and the final day that we're going to be talking about the foundations. Obviously, we'll come back to that a number of times, but the focus this week, obviously, again, was foundations. We used the principle yesterday of the iceberg, right, and the concept of doing all the work underneath, not just focusing on what we want, but we're focusing on who we have to become to get what we want. Okay, so today's question is going to be, we established earlier where we are and where we want to go, but probably the most difficult portion of this is what is currently in our way, right? We can magically say, okay, we're going to set the GPS, we're here, here's our coordinates, here's where we want to go, but without considering what is in the way, we obviously aren't going to be able to get there until we can actually deal with that in a truthful manner, right? And um, So we'd consider the obstacles, and let me just suggest that some of the obstacles aren't physical obstacles, right? It's not uh, what our stories generally are. It's like, I can't do this. I don't have enough money. I don't have enough this. I don't have the education. I don't have all the stories that we like to tell and move on, play on ourselves here. But I would ask you to consider the possibility that the obstacles are mental, right? We don't have we live in a culture today and a day and time where the how to's are everywhere. There's no shortage of how to's, how to do this, how to do that. There's no question. While you may have a question of how can I do this, the focus actually needs to be how can I focus? What is it that I need to do to get there, right? And specifically, what do I need to hold on to? What do I need to let go of? Like in my case, that's probably the biggest obstacle, right? I have built a lot of security on a belief system, and I've worked very hard to have this, but this is probably as far as I'm going to go. Sure, I'll take baby steps and I'll continue to grow unless I'm able to address the obstacles that are in my way. Like, what is the obstacle that's currently stopping me? And let me suggest the possibility that they are all mental beliefs, stories. I have a situation where I'm looking after a kid here a little bit. He's 19 years old. He's going to school, and he always has his story. And I tell him, no, this is not going to work. And he's like, well, wait, but you didn't hear my story. But the bottom line is, it doesn't matter what his story is. His story, no matter what it is not going to get him the result. So we have to actually address the stories and the obstacle. Like, what is the obstacle in your body? Like, what is the obstacle in your body to having the body you want? And in my case, it's like, I have a belief system, right? I'm this age, and I have this injury, and I have all of these other things. But if my first go-to is a story, that story, like, I have to let go of the beliefs. Like, I have to let go of the belief that someone my age can do it. Like, sure, that's probably the case with the majority of it, but I have to let go of those stories. And that to me is the obstacle in that. Okay, the being is, and once again, we have to deal with the reality of what is the obstacle. What is the obstacle in connecting with God, or your creator, or the universe, or so on. And often it's a story of some level of pain, some level of dysfunction in a family, or culture. And more often than not, it's not a question of what we can add. Like, I think we have like an addiction. Let's get this education, let's get this. We keep adding things, but we forget to address what we need to let go of. So let me suggest here that some of these stories possibly we need to let go of. Like in my case, like, I grew up Catholic. There's some things that probably weren't that great in that education, but I have to let go of those things, right? I have to say that, and as long as I have that belief system, that I will not be able to expand. Like, that is my limiting belief, and that is the obstacle in actually having the spiritual realm that I desire. Same with balance. Once again, um, we have to consider, like, what is in my way. Like, and let me suggest that, as in was in my case, that it's probably fear, right? There's some hurt, there's some damaging things in the past, and so we don't go into that with the courage that we have something in total confidence, right? In business, in raising kids and things like that. For me, like, I go in total confidence. I know this shit. Like, I have no hesitation. But in that game, like, I hold back, right? Like, I don't know that game. Like, I got my ass whipped in that game often enough, and I have to let go of the story that that um, that's a painful, type of situation. Um, Same thing with when we go to business and bank accounts, right? We we have to let go of the story of like, I can't, I don't have to, I don't have the money, I don't have the education, I don't have some of the other things. And now I don't know what your story is, but again, we have to like, what is the obstacle? What is the thing that's in my way to having what I want? We understand where we are, we understand where we want to go, but what is clearly the obstacle? The assignment, once again, is to teach this, right? If you can't teach it, you don't know it. If you don't know it, you can't live it. And complete the other assignments below, and we'll talk to you tomorrow on day 8.